This is his round 1 throw. 21.47.
Well, one of the early highlights of this meeting is the women's 800 meters. Primarily for the appearance of Keely HODGKINSON. You can see there just doing some last-minute stretching. Saalberg's going to be the pacemaker on the outside, and these conditions where everybody's been hoping for some fast times tonight, well, Saalberg will have to go some. But Keely came back with a ban, all sorts of bangs last week, all sorts of injury problems since that Olympic title, and she showed that she hasn't lost anything. World lead, almost a personal best in her first race of the season. Watch out though for Audrey WERRO in her home, well, I'd say home track. It's not actually a home track, but the Swiss crowd, I'm sure, are loving the sort of form that she's in. She ran a big personal best 400 meters just last week. 51 seconds, that's pretty sharp. Now, at the other end, Georgia Hunter-Bell could go in the 1500 or the 800 at the World Championships. This might help her decide as to see how well she goes against HODGKINSON and the others. Addie WILEY had a shocking American Championships when she looked as though she could get onto their team. Like many people, getting into the top 3 proved difficult. Bourgoin, who's had an excellent season, particularly indoors, looking forward to seeing her. Segodiso, who started the season exceptionally well, but we haven't seen her for a few weeks. Not sure if she's had 1 or 2 injury problems, but she's back, and if she can pick up where she left off, just might give HODGKINSON something to think about. Hollingsworth in superb form, the young 20-year-old, the new area record for the Australian in Silesia. Most of the Aussies, including her, have been preparing in St. Moritz. Norway of Botswana, the big find this year. Watch out for her, she's in lane 2. Rénelle LAMOTE, again, who hasn't raced at all this season, is in lane 1. So Norway of Botswana, the 25-year-old who's had such a big improvement, somebody who Keely might not have considered at the start of this season, but she's been concentrating on getting herself fit for this. How fast can she go here tonight? Away they go. The green lights right on the inside, they are glaring in this sort of murk and gloom that we have, but thankfully the rain has stopped. So Saalberg on the outside. Keely HODGKINSON hasn't started particularly quickly. WERRO moved through that first 150 nice and smartly. They're all waiting for Keely to come across. Going to try and hit 56 or thereabouts through 400 meters, and now she finally finds her way to the front. It's taking her time to get there. Moving on the outside, Addie WILEY in the red. Georgia Hunter-Bell just moving on the outside of the pack as well. Now they all gather behind the Olympic champion.
You're right, Steve. They were all waiting for Keely HODGKINSON and what she was going to do. Georgia Hunter-Bell is higher up than she's been in those other Diamond League races she's won. She's definitely trying to get herself more involved, putting up alongside her teammate, but all to fight for in the closing lap. And Sekgodiso's got a brilliant position now on the inside.
Spot on in terms of pacemaking, 56.04. HODGKINSON about 56.4 seconds in second place. Segodiso on the inside, very close to her. Georgia Hunter-Bell just letting a little bit of a gap develop. All of the others just struggling a little bit down the back straight. Bourgoin is there, and then WILEY and WERRO, but they're a long way behind the Olympic champion, who only has Segodiso for company. Georgia Hunter-Bell struggling with this pace, may come strong again in the home straight, but look at Keely HODGKINSON, 1:25.58 through 600 meters. This is very quick running. Keely HODGKINSON trying to follow those lights, trying to get a world lead. The meeting record has stood to Maria Mutola for such a long time. I'm pretty sure we're going to see that disappear. Hunter-Bell moving into second place, but she's miles behind. Keely HODGKINSON streaking away to take the 800 meters here in Lausanne. It is a new meeting record. Not as quick over the last 200 as we saw the other day. However, might be forgiven, the conditions aren't as good here. They certainly went for it, didn't they? You can't say they didn't. Went out very quick indeed. Strong through 600 and just couldn't quite pick it up in that last 150 or so, but nonetheless, she was so far ahead of everybody else. Actually, WERRO came through very quick for second.
As well judged finish from Audrey WERRO, and I think the way the other athletes, they were waiting for Keely, they were waiting to see what she did, but they knew they had to go through that first 200 very quick to give themselves a chance of getting on terms with Hodgkinson, and that's what Sekgodiso did. And the South African, the world indoor champion, unfortunately, I think she really paid for that in the last 120, and it looked like Georgia Hunter-Bell was going to get a comfortable second place, but Audrey WERRO, I think it's her third or fourth 157 of the year. The Swiss athlete was being cheered on down the home straight. But Keely HODGKINSON, just perfection again, I think, to run that time. I think the conditions are probably what has made the difference between the meet in Poland on Saturday and the time that she did today, but another fantastic run from her.
Yeah, Hannah, a bit young. I mean, you're like me, you had a few injuries in your career, and sometimes when you've had a long layoff, I sometimes think the first race back, you come out with a real bang. You can't do that. And then you sometimes think, well, I'm bound to get quicker. It doesn't always happen that way. You know, she's in great shape, though, is moving really, really well. I think she thought she was on for something very quick. Watch her looking, the eyes looking for the clock here. So far ahead of everybody else. And yep, good finish from WERRO just to pip Hunter-Bell on the line. Let's see what her face says.
Not what it said on Saturday, quite.
Exactly,
but there was a big push down the back straight, and
she's a hard taskmaster on herself, isn't she?
She is, and I think, well, you know, if she'd run 156 on Saturday, she would have been pleased.